Hello and welcome to Koru Kiwi Arts. My name is Darren. Now today I want to paint a picture from my imagination of the Milford Sounds. Now I've been there before and what a magical place it was. And I'd love to return with my wife and maybe we'll get to see some kiwis. These are the colours I'm going to be using today to paint this picture of the Milford Sounds. And I'll display the colours along the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to be using this wide brush here. Now I'm using acrylics. I'm treating them like watercolours. Now I did a watercolour painting of One Tree Hill and I posted it on Instagram. So if you'd like to go and see my painting, please go over and have a look and leave a comment. Maybe even follow us as well. So I'm just using water as my medium and I've got tissues here to wipe the paper. Now I have other brushes in which I may use a fine paintbrush and a chisel end paintbrush and another one which is a little smaller. So first I'm going to lay in the background with my, actually I might just pencil it in with my pens, with my paintbrush. I'm going to use the dark grey. So let's get some paint on there. I've closed the window today because they're mowing the lawns. So the Milford Sounds, wow, okay. They have this remarkable rock structure that comes straight out from the water and it's massive. And you can get there by boat. And I'll put another one maybe across there like that. That's all I'm going to do. It's what my paintbrush and so I'm going to add a little bit of this grey and let's just fill this in through here, add a bit more water to it. And I'm just dabbing on the paint roughly to represent rocks. Now I'm going to put some plant life in there as well. It's not just rocks. There's lots of growth like plants and all that growing on there. And I'll come down through here as well. Now when you come to this place you have to go for a tunnel. It's called the Homer Tunnel. It's quite a remarkable achievement in which they did back in those days. They made this tunnel. It's quite rough, but they cut through the mountain, and the mountain's made out of granite, one of the most hardest compounds to ever cut through. And so I'm not sure how long it is. It could be a kilometre long, maybe longer. But as you drive through it, you come through the other side and you take this road trip through the forest and then you come to this, the Milford Sounds. And there's so much water going into the sea from the ice caps that imagine this is the sea, right? But there's so much water coming down into the water. There's apparently 4 or 5 meters of fresh water sitting on top of the salt water, and it's just constantly pouring into the salt water, into the Pacific Ocean. So I'm gonna maybe do some mountains in the background, but first I'm going to use my wide brush, my wide one here. Sorry, I was busy talking and forgot why I was meant to be here in the first place. I'm gonna use maybe the grey again. Yeah, why not? Let's use a bit of the grey and put a little bit of this blue in there. I want it to be a stormy sky. And I'm just going to, wow, this is incredible. This big brush really applies it on quickly. And I'm not adding any colour along the bottom because I want to get lighter as it gets to the bottom, like so. Just add a little darkness at the top here. Leave it like that. I find it easier to paint your clouds fast. If you're slow and think about it, they don't seem to come out. Just paint without thinking, and it just happens. So I'm going to do the same for the water later. So let's add some growth on these hills, or not hills, mountains, cliffs. Now they're so tall that if I did a little speck like this, can you see that dot? Well, in fact, it's a little bit too big, but it gives you a general idea of how big these mountains are, because that is the large boat that goes out, and that's what people go on to view these mountains. And this little boat here, with this ship, goes out to the west coast and then turns around and then comes back through the gap between these mountains. And if you're lucky, you'll get to see some Hector dolphins swimming around. They're very small dolphins and very playful, and they love swimming next to the boats. And they're a small dolphin, and they're very rare and precious, and only found in New Zealand. So I'm going to add some greenery to the top here to represent native bush. I'm going to use a dark green, or this one here, if you can see it. I don't know the name of it, but I'm going to call this more of a brownish green colour, because if you get a green and you add a little bit of brown, you get this colour. So I'm just going to apply that across the top very quickly to represent some of the trees that grow and plant life that grows on this magnificent structure. Now this isn't just a rock in the water, it goes out is quite long, stretches out for miles. So you're only seeing the edge of this. So put some plant life along there. And let's do the same for here. Now I like the colour. Really goes well. I'm not going to come too close or put too much in there because I don't want to hide the cliffs and the rocks underneath. And I'm going to put something else in here as well. So let's do the same over here. That'll do. Now, along the bottom, I'm going to use this paintbrush here. Along the bottom, I'm going to use a different green. I'm going to use this dark green, and I'm going to block in an area like here to represent the edge of the water as it comes towards the land. Do like that. Right, let's wipe my paintbrush with this tissue. Let's clean it, and now let's add the water. So I'm going to use this blue here. Playing with colours, love it. I love acrylics because they have so much versatility. You can do so much with them. Put a line to represent the edge here. And I'm going to come down maybe here because I don't want to make the water go to the edge. I'm going to bring this mountain out towards us. And let's do the same over here. And now I can add a little bit of darkness in there. And I quite like how it's light and dark. It's a cloudy day, so there won't be many shadows lying about. So I'm going to use my big brush again and put it in the grey through here. And I'm going to go a little bit darker on the edge here to separate these two. And I'm going to maybe make it a little darker because it is closer to us. I'm going to leave a gap there. And I'm just trying to be rough to represent rocks. And maybe here like that. I'm creating a space for my waterfall through there. And I'm going to add another maybe another cliff in the background there. Let's water this down a bit. And narrow this gap between these two rocks, because the gap isn't that far apart on this side. I have no idea if it looks like this, because this is all from my imagination, but this is my interpretation of the Milford Sounds. And the reason why I've gone and done this black is because I'm going to put snow on here. Snow. And that should bring it back to white again. And let's do some lines through here to represent cliffs. Make this a little darker through here. Let's try and enhance it a bit more. Some patterns through there. And okay, let's do the same for over here. Let's bring this out. Picked up a bit of blue then, never mind. And maybe like that. Now let's clean these paintbrushes very well. I'm going to let the paint dry, but I'm going to do some detail along the bottom here. So I'm going to put some plant life and some dirt. So I'm going to put it into some brown, and I'm going to rub a bit of brown through here. Not too much, just enough to separate. The water to the land. You know, what the heck, let's do this bigger, let's do this much bigger through here. That's better. So, the power of painting, you can do whatever you want, you can change it, and okay, I quite like that. And maybe come up through there, and maybe add the back end of this rock in there. Come down through there. It all depends on what angle you're seeing it from. All the sun's just disappeared behind the clouds, so my picture won't be bright enough to see, I guess. Now let's add some trees. So I've got back into that same green again, And I'm going to add trees through here. Don't worry, the sun will come back out and you'll get to see my picture again. Just add some trees through there. Maybe a little bit in the background there. I'm not going to put too much because it's in the distance. I don't want to bring it forward. Now, let's add a bit of grey, and let's bring this let's fill this part in here. Seems to be floating. Make this side a little darker. Okay, and then we'll add some more greenery in the back here. Across here. Not too much will do, and maybe a little bit through here, and maybe some down through here. Now along the front here I'm going to add some plants because I've seen photographs of the Milford Sounds and there's normally bulrushes and flaxes and all sorts growing in the front here. So I'm going to use this green. It's like a little bit of dark green here with some yellow. And I'm going to try and, it's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to add some plants going through here. I'll come, we'll flick some this way, we don't need to all go the same way, and maybe here. Now I could use my fine brush and do this, take more time, but because this is just a tutorial, I'm just quickly doing this quickly for you. So I've got some nice grasses growing through the edge of the water there. Maybe continue the water through here, but I don't want to contain it to this edge here because this here carries on for quite a distance, so I'm just going to just put this on the edge here like that. Now that's a lot better. You can almost call this speed painting. Now, I don't think that's quite dry. As soon as I put paint in there, it's going to blend in the grey into the white, make it all look all unpleasant to look at. So let's add some more greenery. I'm going to put a little dark green in there now, and just flicking my paintbrush up to represent flaxes and so on. Now, because because this is a New Zealand scene, I'm going to put a coral in there. So I'm going to use my fine paintbrush. I'll put it in the dark green. Let's put a couple of corals in there. The coral is a plant, or the twisty part of the plant. We call that the coral. Represents life, beginning of life and the end of life, the cycle of life. And let's put some flaxes in there later, but I like to put some ferns. Try and make this painting interesting. Another coral here. So what these are is corals. As they open up, they turn into a fern. And all the little bits inside are all the fern pieces that you see. And everywhere you look, you'll see the coral in lots of designs and lots of things. Put another fern just here. I'm not too worried if I go over it. And I'm going to use my other brush. This one here, I'm going to dip it in. Here I'm going to put one corner into the paint, so it's just on the edge of your paintbrush, and I'm going to run it down to represent flaxes. Like so. And maybe add a little bit of green in there. Let's add some colour. And just having one colour. Add some life to these ferns. I'm putting a light green in here. So the light is being cast and showing it on the other side. Just quickly bring them on there. And it's, well, I've got the small paintbrush. Put in some dark colours. Or dark green. Okay. Now, in my other brush, let's clean this up very well, because I need to clean it, because I'm going to be putting it into some white. So here I'm going to make a waterfall. I'm going to add bit of white, and I've actually got a bit of green or blue still in this paintbrush. So let's see what happens, eh? And just flick it here. And then I'm just going to dab it like that so it's hitting the water. And I'll do the same over here too. I'll do another one over here. There's a lot of waterfalls. In this area. There's another one, and I'll do another one over here. This one can come down and run down and fall into the sea here. And let's put some snow on these mountains. It's gonna just dab it on. Do it the same way as I was. Representing the rocks. Now come the other way. Like so. And maybe put a little bit of snow on top of here. And maybe a little bit of snow on this one. Okay. And let's add a bit of texture to that water. So I'm going to add a little bit of this dark grey. I'm going to just add it to the waterfall. And I'll leave it like that. There's this. Some grey in there. We come back. There's some grey. And so on. So there you go. Let's put my name on the bottom of this. A very quick tutorial of the Milford Sounds. Put my name here, initials D. Now you could come back and add more detail if you wanted to, and pencil it all in, add more rocks, and you could really go to town and create or basically change your painting altogether by adding different mediums in there. You could add colour pencils or pencils that dilute in water, or acrylic pens or whatever. But it's the Milford Sounds, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys again later. And if you get a big heart from me, it's my way of saying thank you for watching, and please leave a comment, and if you like to see more, please subscribe to our channel. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye now.